Hi, I'm Ann Karrick, and I'm here with Reno Venturi from the Actors Gym in Hamden in New Haven County, Connecticut. And Reno, thanks for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Great to be here. Thank you.
Good to see you. So I understand the Actors Gym does all sorts of things.
We do.
So give us a quick summary if you can.
Well, let's put it this way. We teach every kind of class you could possibly imagine if it's related to film or any kind of acting.
Okay.
So we have everything from commercial acting to film and TV acting. We even teach teleprompter because it turns out, because I'm also...
How to read a teleprompter.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And people, and not look like you're, reading a typewriter.
Right.
Typewriter eyes. Yeah, so we do that because I'm a casting director as well, and I get a lot of calls for people that have teleprompter experience. So what better way to give them experience? 6-week class, they're all set.
Yeah. So, and do you like to specialize in one area, or you like doing all different things?
I like a little bit of everything, and they probably teach a little bit of everything, and then I have some additional staff that have joined me. Steve Blackwood from Days of Our Lives, he was on the show for 10 years, and he asked if he could do a class at my place, and he liked it so much, now he asked if he can be a regular faculty, so I was like, sure.
And what's his class about? Since you mentioned it, we have to know.
He does audition classes, but he's also going to be offering a soap opera intensive, which even if you don't do soap operas, just the fact that you can do that kind of work really strengthens you as an actor. Yeah. So that's what we're looking for.
It seems like there's less soap operas now. Like a lot of them have gone away.
Well, there's less here in the East Coast. They've all moved to the West. I used to cast for a couple of East Coast. I used to cast a lot of the under fives and special guests, things like that. But then they moved. They either shut down or they moved to the West Coast.
Unless you're doing telenovela.
Yep, there you go.
Those are thriving, right?
I really, what was I thinking?
Just need some Spanish. So you said you do casting as well, and it sounds like you've done casting for a lot of well-known people and companies.
Definitely.
Do you want to share some of those for the viewing audience here?
Well, I've cast for actually a little bit of everybody, even features here that are done locally and produced. Pretty decent budget features.
Right.
But primarily right now, what I'm casting is commercials. So
Okay.
I cast for Nike and Nutrisystem, and everybody knows the Smilo Cancer Institute commercials.
Right.
And people always go, what's the next one going to be? Like I can tell them.
Right.
But like the flash mob that we just did, everyone's like, oh, that was amazing. How long did it take you guys to do it? And I'm like, yeah, trade secrets. But that's what I do.
And is it still considered a good entree into acting to do commercials?
Absolutely.
Because I know you see a lot of times people who've done commercials and then all of a sudden you see them in, a show
Farrah
or a movie or
Fawcett,
something.
you go way back. I mean, there's a lot of...
Forever, yeah. So that's still true, that if somebody wants to break in, that doing commercials is a good thing.
I teach a commercial class, and what I tell actors, if you can do a commercial, you can do anything. And the reason is because the dialogue in it is not written to be conversational. Yeah. And so if you can make that dialogue sound conversational, you've accomplished it.
Right.
You can totally do it.
It sounds a little bit like my business where I do the news and they want it to be conversational. I'm like, it's only so conversational you can be when you're, delivering bad news.
Except in commercials, the thing that people don't understand is that I say it in the beginning class, commercial class, they say, what do you think you're doing here? Oh, we're selling something. I'm like, no, you're never selling anything.
You should be connecting with the audience, probably.
No, you're sharing your joy about something. If I pull out my JCPenney's card and I start to show it to you and tell you why I shopped there and why is it a platinum one, well, and once I do that, suddenly everyone's like, really? You mean I can get all that? Now they want it.
Right.
But if I say, hey, you have to use this card, they'd be like, no.
That's the pushy, annoying ad.
Yeah, and then in the news world, you're not supposed to have an opinion, right?
If you're actually doing the news, you're not supposed to have an opinion. If you're doing a talk show, you can be a news person doing a talk show,
Gotcha.
and then you can share your opinion. And in my case, since I do both, I usually try to say, this is my opinion. I mean, I make that very clear because...
In this reporter's opinion.
Well, because when you're doing the news, it's supposed to be the information and then, not an opinion. So it's...
And look,
but
now,
this isn't about me.
And now I'm interviewing you. It's great. So, let me have
what
your notes.
else do you want to know about news? I could tell you.
It's all great. It's all great.
So, but you do have some new ventures going on as well now, correct?
Several new ventures. We're always looking to make sure that my actors are working, even when they're not working.
Working is good.
Even when they're not working, I'm going to make sure they're working. So we started a production company, and we decided that we would just I wanted to do a feature, but I thought, an all high definition, top end, everything. But I knew that would overwhelm people, so I said, we're going to make it a web series. We just have to shoot little 12-minute, episodes. Suddenly, everybody, it was okay. Well, now that it's up and going, and we've shot 7 episodes, now everyone's like, we need to make that a feature. So I decided just to create work when there's not work. And I'm always
okay.
doing that. I'm kind of an actor's advocate. The New York Times calls me the Connecticut actor's advocate, which I love because I love actors. I love filmmakers. I love, any kind of talent. And I love to be involved any way I can.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have any advice for people who, because a lot of people think they want to be in the acting industry, how do you figure out which ones really should be and which ones probably is not a good match?
So it's pretty easy. I have a slogan
Okay.
at my studio, and it says, "Check your ego at the door." And if the ego keeps coming in, it's not for you.
Right.
Because it's a very tough business, and people's egos get beat up all the time. And if you're not ready for that, it's not going to work. And if you think you're already a movie star, then you need to go to Hollywood and just be a movie star, because it kind of doesn't work like that. And a lot of people think because they saw a movie once that now they're actors.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, if you
That would be the fast track.
wouldn't that be the fast track? And unfortunately, I have to deal with that a lot. And you have to, you try to be nice and, succinctly explain to them that if someone says you look like an attorney, you don't just go try a case. Or if they say you look like a doctor, you don't just go do surgery. You learn your business. You learn what you're supposed to know, everything from marketing to how to make character choices. So I can usually tell pretty quick. And it's the people that have a good work ethic, people that are committed, the people that understand that it's okay to receive criticism, those kinds of things. And those are the actors I tend to cast on a regular basis. Like I have some people I will use over and over again because the client's always happy with them. They're happy because they're willing to take criticism and take direction.
Well, and it makes them easy to work with.
It makes them a lot easier.
Right,
And that's everything.
Right. I mean, we're going to assume that they're all capable, but
Yep.
if they're difficult to work with, nobody wants to work with difficult people in any industry.
That's true. And it's true, actually, in Hollywood, there's a lot of big names. I'll leave them nameless, but you notice they sort of disappear off the scene for a while. And I've worked with a number of these people, and I know why they've disappeared
Is it
off the
because
scene.
they got too difficult?
They got difficult.
People are
and so-
tired of dealing with their
now-
ego.
That's exactly. It filled the room before they did, and
Yeah.
it's kind of frightening. And so a lot of it has to do with the fact that everyone understands that it's work ethic. That's the primary base.
Yeah, I can imagine that because if somebody is all about their ego, they're no longer looking at
Well,
what the character is supposed to be.
This
It's all
is
about them.
This is a creative journey that we have here, making films. It's always about expanding, finding new avenues, thinking beyond the box. And if you already know everything, there's no room for that, right?
That's right. That's true. That's true. All right. So before we run out of time, what else is new at the Actors Gym or with you and your many ventures?
Well, I'm kind of all over the place. So I'm teaching all over the place, but through the Actors Gym, we do live theater as well. We do, we teach people how to make films. I work with the group Sect and try to introduce people to filmmakers and things like that. So we're kind of full service. It's really all about the actor and the film.
all ages? Are you primarily adults or?
I used to do a lot of kids classes, and now I do special workshop for kids only because I only have a certain amount of time. I do have
Right.
Emily Webster, who used to have a TV show, and she will do kids classes.
Okay.
But right now it's like 14 to infinity is pretty much. But occasionally we get 11-year-old
Is
in
it
a
different
class.
when you're working with small children? Is it a different process?
It's a little bit different, just
Yeah.
in how you approach them, because you're trying to build layers and trying to make them stronger as performers or as
Right.
actors.
Okay.
So.
So, all right. Any last parting words?
No, I think
Pieces
that's
of
great.
advice? Nothing?
I'm the
Okay.
Actors Gym. actorsgym.net. I tell people just put my name in Google and be prepared because it kind of comes
All
up
right.
all over the place. But
All right. Well, thank you.
I appreciate this
Great
opportunity.
meeting
Thank
you.
you very much.